You know, when I first heard that they were doing the Masters Universe being crossed over with Transformers, my immediate thought was Pretenders, but they didn't go in that direction. Instead, they went with Megatron being fused with Skeletor, which is not a brand new concept because there's plenty of Digibashes out there of Skeletor on Bludgeon's body, which I think would have been perfect. And then these popped up, and it's been very mixed reviews, so I'm very curious to actually get this guy open and see what he's got going on. But first, let's take a look at that really, really nice box art. Look at that. That is super cool. And I think that Mattel should do the same thing that I think Hasbro should do, where they maybe give us an online catalog of some kind on their website where they just show off all this really cool box art with you know, without the extra bits being put in front of it, because let's appreciate these artists. I know on the Instagram you can see a lot of the original artwork that's being put out there, because they did that for Ninja Turtles and the He-Man crossover, so I would like to see more of that. But the box art is actually really cool. I like the digitized Snake Mountain and whatnot. That looks really good. I still want a little sticker with the crossover name on there so I can peel it off and put it on my computer monitor. But let's take a look at Transformers Crossed He-Man Skeletor. Quick note, when you open the box, you get a little tech spec for Skeletor. That's actually kind of cool. Very, very retro, very 80s. So you can check out all his stats. You don't need there used to be a little red color bar that you could go over to reveal the stats, but we don't need that anymore. And in case you missed it on one side, they also included it on the other side. So there you go. It comes with a mini comic, of course, with some really nice looking artwork. That's very cool. I know that when this was first announced, because it kind of came out of nowhere, the big question was crossing over with Transformers, but how? If you're not already familiar with it, the Transformers, in the middle of their war, they send out a disc that contains all of their information and all of their designs and their own tech specs and whatnot, and it's intercepted by Man-at-Arms in Eternia, and they start taking a look and they create they're like, well, I guess we should get this before Skeletor does, but too late because Skeletor already has it. So Skeletor gets his armor before they do. But then they get their armor, and they fight off Skeletor, with a nice hint at the end of Starscream Scare Glow. Scare Scream? No, not at all. That's not what they're calling them. So this is not, in fact, characters being fused together, which was more of what Ninja Turtles and He-Man did. It's more Eternians found a disc that gives them really cool upgrade armor, so that's what they're doing. So there's worse ways to cross them over. This was a unique way to do it. Back to opening. I do like that Skeletor is very consistently on brand with his ram stylizing on his weapons. Guarantee that if it's Skeletor, you can tell it's Skeletor. He's got some kind of ram thing going on there. Everything, just everything ram coded. It has to be, otherwise it's not his. No rams, get out! I could have worked in a sports team joke in there, but I don't know anything about sports. Oh boy. Okay, that's not fair. I shouldn't start off the review that way. But getting him out of the package, my thought process was he's not really the best. It's a weird way for this mashup to be cobbled together. Like, visually, I get it. Like, it's Megatron, it's Skeletor, he's wearing Megatron armor, but the way that it comes across, it's just, I'm not quite sure what's not hitting. I think part of the issue might be, no pun intended, if we go and take a look at the actual comic book, if you look at the way that Skeletor looks with the armor here versus the way that was handled, the translation from this to this, it's not quite. Also, what is going on with your jaw? What are you doing? It's a little like he's grinding his teeth at night. He's having a rough time with this with this crossover too, I guess. Is there some way to somebody might be. Do they all look like this? Do they all have like the weird jaw askew? Or is that just mine? Is that a perk for mine? I have the tooth grinding variant of Skeletor. That is kind of funny. But yeah, I think, you know what I think it is? I really think it's the shoulders. I think the shoulder line is off. If you look at Skeletor here with Megatron armor, and this is just a visual art thing, these come straight up, so it's like his top portion should be just like a big old rectangle, and on this figure, they kind of slope inward, and it makes him look like he's pinched in to this armor. So it's not as appealing as it probably should be. This top torso section should be more broad, and I think that would actually do a lot in his favor to make the figure maybe look just visually a little better. You take him out and you set him down, and I think he would look a little better if he looked more like this. This now makes me wonder if there are going to be some 3D sculptors out there who are going to take a stab at this, see if they can get it a little bit more on model. And I kind of get why he does look like this, because of the way that the He-Man build generally works. Their torsos kind of round out. So if you're adding the arms in, they almost kind of have to follow the way that the torso pinches inward for the arms to fit in the way that they normally do. But yeah, I think that's why it's kind of off-putting. It's a little bit weird. But let's take a look at some of the other detailing. Everything that has been included, I think, works really well. The helmet looks looks really good. I like the combination of the Decepticon and the crossbones. Of course, the iconic midsection for Megatron, combined with the now maybe a little more robotic looking loincloth for Skeletor. But the shoulder armor, I think, actually is pretty cool and innovative, because you get the normal Skeletor flats, but they lock down like a robot would. So that's pretty cool. And on the back, you got your Megatron back. He does lack what would normally be his little mini cannon, but I guess that's reserved for that right there. He just had to hold on to it. Really liking the forearm. The forearm armor is also really good. This figure is a weird conundrum, because I am liking the individual aspects of it. It's just when it all comes together, I don't know, it's just not where it should be. Why are his feet so tiny? Why has he got little itty bitty footsies? I like the lower leg boots. This is a very cool design. I like the kind of the bony wraparound, but also a little bit futuristic looking. The feet are ridiculous. I'm sorry. If you're a Transformer and you're standing up, you got to have some big honking feet, and I'm not quite sure why these are so dainty. Why? Because even Skeletor's regular feet, I think, are bigger than this. So why the tiny toes, Skeletor? Maybe he felt maybe he was embarrassed. I don't know. But let's take a look at his accessories as well. We've already taken a look at his ram sword, which is pretty neat. We've got his. I like this interpretation of Megatron's energy mace. This is a very cool updated version of that. Instead of the mace at the end, you've got the ram head, and so that's really neat. I like the way that came out. And his cannon, his iconic cannon, which is this I think turned out really well. It's a really cool combination of Megatron's cannon plus Skeletor's Havoc staff. So this came out really good. And I think the only thing that would have made it better, and they did it with the energy mace. They've got the little explosion of energy here. It'd be really cool to have just a 5mm port. 5mm port right here would have been perfect. And then you could have some sort of blast effect come out, or some kind of like magic effect that'd be exploding out of the end of it. Let's put your Megatron cannon on there. So, and this is kind of cool too. I like that the way that they have the grooves in here. They lock right onto the forearm armor. But this is what I mean about the shoulders being kind of an issue. If he was more broad, if this came straight up as a rectangle and the arms protruded out from there, this wouldn't be happening. Come here, get on there. I mean, he does hold it. It does. It will work, but visually, like you can see, it almost looks like he's been taken by surprise and is like, yeah, yikes. Instead, it'd be nice if you could get that up just a little bit more, but you can't because of the angle and the actual this flap here, which wouldn't be an issue if he was just had a little more clearance up here. But this doesn't look bad. I don't mind this. I just think that it could have maybe gotten just one or two more passes along the way. That is his accessories, and they're very simple. They've got these would probably benefit from if you went in and gave them like a quick wash, because there's some detailing on them that's really cool, but you don't really, a lot of it doesn't stand out because it's all just molded in one color. The Havoc staff cannon, I think, is very much a win because this is kind of perfect. So let's get into his height. Skeletor Megatron stands at about 5.5 inches, which is standard for the line. With a Megatron Skeletor, I'm a little surprised that they didn't go bigger. Just a little, he's the leader of the Decepticons. He's also Skeletor, but I guess it is just Skeletor wearing Megatron armor. It's not like a full. This is not the Ninja Turtles crossover where they were kind of fusing characters together. So it's just Skeletor who has this armor. He's not getting a beefy upgrade like he did for the Mumra fusion that they did with him. So let's go over the articulation real quick. Skeletor has your standard He-Man articulation in the neck. Very, very good range of motion there. Like I like that you can get some real good, funny, unintentionally hilarious expressions out of him just from tilting the head around. So that's pretty nice. Articulation in the shoulder is standard. You're gonna run into some hesitation, a little bit of. You're not gonna be able to get him to pose his arm higher up than this due to the way the shoulder armor works. Articulation in the elbow, and another one that's a little bit limited. Well, part of it is the way the musculature works. With the big bulging muscles, you're not gonna have like a full bend in on itself kind of articulation, but with the additional armor on the forearm, you're getting a little bit of resistance there. So there is that. Articulation at the wrist, so that's not too bad. No ab crunch, but it would have been really cool if maybe this was the torso was a separate piece and then this was a separate piece, so you could twist that torso around. But articulation at the waist is very good. Articulation at the thigh, so he can get that kick pretty high up there. Not bad. Good job being limber, Skelly. Wait, are these drop downs? No, that's just me pulling on the. No, they are. Holy cow! He's got drop down joints in his thigh. I missed that. Perhaps it's been there all along and I've just been missing it. But he has articulation at the knee. These are standard. They are not double knees, nor do I think you need them for these figures. Swivel in the lower leg, not too bad. And articulation at the ankle, plus a rocker, because he's going to need it for these little teeny tiny tootsies. So let's get Skeletor all suited up with his Mega Buster Fusion Havoc Cannon. That actually does look, man, that does look really cool. For my nitpicking about the overall look of the figure, this cannon is awesome. And let's get him his Havoc Whip staff. Is there a, I don't see a, I don't know if there's an official name for these things, so I'm just doing it on the fly. And this will just be here in case Buzz-Off tries to land on him and he'll have a terrible surprise. It's a little, see, this is the daintiness of the feet. This is really this is really showing why these feet should be a little more, think Mega Man. Give us some Mega Man feet. Or even some of the Transformers. They had some pretty big clomping feet on there because they knew they needed to balance all that weaponry they were toting around. So you may have a little bit of an issue getting Megatron Skeletor to stand up straight, but you can do it. You can persevere. You can get him to stand there. So now let's give Skeletor a buddy to hang out with. Let's see how he compares to Tigra. And man, seeing Skeletor wearing Megatron armor next to Tigra just makes me think, just go for it, Mattel. Cross all three. Thundercats versus He-Man versus Transformers. Go ahead and do it. And let's show him off with his Ninja Turtles crossover counterpart. I gotta give it to Skeletor. They give him some pretty neat fashion sense. He knows what he should be wearing. He knows where he should be taking out of that wardrobe and putting on. And next to his favorite person in the world, good old He-Man. And everything looks a little better in purple. So in conclusion, Transformers cross He-Man, Skeletor cross with Megatron is an interesting figure. He is not my favorite. I think that they tried a lot of interesting things, and I even think that a lot of those were pulled off well. Again, I love the combination fusion cannon Havoc staff. I like the idea of this crossover. Like He-Man crossed over with almost anything is a lot of fun. Just like Ninja Turtles crossed over with anything can be a lot of fun. But I think that we might now be starting to see some of the cracks in the crossover stuff that has been coming out kind of nonstop. Right, I'm starting to wonder if maybe this came out a little bit rushed. It seems a little bit unfinished. Almost like the individual aspects of it kind of work. Like I like the way that they handled the armor. I like the way that they fused the weapons together. And like I said, the artwork actually looks really good. And even the story's not that bad. I think this could have used maybe one or two more passes before they finalized it and then got it out to retail. It seems like they may have seen the success of the crossovers that they were doing, like the success of He-Man and Ninja Turtles and the excitement for He-Man and Thundercats, and they said, well, what else can we do? Get Thundercat, Transformers, get it, go. Which is fine, and I love crossovers. I don't want this to ever end, but I do want them to be done well, because if you start making more like this and it's not, it seems kind of haphazard, I would fear for the fandom turning against it. And there's a pretty hefty handful of people, or rather a lot of vocal people online who do not seem to be on board for this. Maybe some different decisions could have been made, but I'm still kind of curious to see where they go with this. We have other characters coming. He-Man and Optimus Prime, Scareglow and Starscream are coming out, so I'm very curious to see how those turn out. So I don't want to say to not get this. If you're considering picking this up, they are a little bit pricey. They're a little pricier than your average crossover figure, so that'll be your decision to make. But I thought it was worth picking him up. He is not my favorite figure, but he does have some good points to him. I'm curious to see what they do coming out. And if you're going to play clearance chicken with these guys, these might be the characters to do it with, because they're all over Target. So I would imagine in maybe a couple months you'll be able to pick them up for that clearance $8 cost, and worth it for $8. Maybe not worth it for the current retail price, but hope you enjoyed this review. Hope you have been watching. I've got some other ones coming up soon. If you've been enjoying it, give the channel a like, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to have toy reviews still coming out. It's going to be cranking them out. Let me know in the comments what you thought of Megatron cross Megatron Skeletor. I think the concept is neat, but let me know what you think. Get a hold of us on Blue Sky. Our handle is 2 Guys Talking Toys. That is the number 2, no G after the talking. You can also follow me on Instagram at 2G Talking Toys, where you'll see me wandering around to all the local toy stores and seeing if I can find something decent. Because in my area they're terrible. So finding anything is that's a real treat. So until next time, take care, everybody.